Usually I've got a little intro and then I play a short video on what a lot of my videos are about. But since this is a how-to and most of you are probably going to tune in just to see how to do this, I'm not going to have a long intro. I'm not even going to include my normal little starting engines and, you know, the whole intro thing. I'm just going to get right to it. For those who do normally watch my videos, I do apologize. I'll put the intro at the end. That way, you know, you guys will still know it's me. But for you all that are tuning in for the first time, I'm going to get right to work so you can see what we're doing on this. But I am going to say one thing before we start. I have learned. It took me 45 years, but I figured it out. So far, I have put in an engine and didn't change the rear seal, and that bit me. On this car, you can tune in about a month or so ago, and I put a video out on this car about changing the spark plugs. Well, as much work as it is getting to the plugs, I should have gone ahead and done what I'm going to do today, right then and there. With this being said, what we're getting ready to do right now, changing the injector, I'm also going to put a new coil pack in it, just to be safe. Now, if you don't have any money, okay, it's probably not the coil pack anyway, because usually they go. So the injector is probably my problem. But if you can afford to, put a new coil pack on it, and do yourself a favor after doing all this, because it takes so much work to do. Go ahead and put a set of plugs in it. For what are the plugs? $2.25 now. They used to be like less than $1, but now plugs are like $2.25 or more. I think some plugs are like $6 or $7. But if you're going to do this project yourself and you're going to go ahead and change out the injector, because that's what's causing this misfire, I'm 99.9.999% sure that's what this is. But I'm going to change the coil pack just in case. I've already changed the plugs, but if I hadn't, I would highly recommend, if you're getting ready to do this project, do yourself a favor and get a set of plugs and change them while you're in here. And if indeed when you're changing the plugs you do break a boot, I found out after the fact that you can buy just the boot. So don't panic if you rip the boot. I guess they get hot in there and they kind of seize on the old plug. If you watch that other video, you'll see how to keep that from happening. But if you get a ham-handed Harry, like I had before I got into this car, whoever worked on it before, well, yep, ham-handed Harry. But if you get somebody that knows what they're doing and they put a little bit of dielectric grease on there, you'll be fine. But if not, if you do end up tearing a boot, you can buy just the boots. And they're way cheaper than a coil. But on this job, we're going to change the coil, we're going to change the injector, and if I hadn't already, I would have changed the plugs too. So a little advice to you, do yourself a favor and change the plugs. Have the plugs ready so you can change them while doing this project. Just saying. This particular 3.6 VVT is a Cadillac, but don't be fooled. Cadillac, Chevrolet, GMC, whatever. If you've got a 3.6 VVT engine, this is how to do it. This is just a cover. This is just, you can put Cadillac, Chevrolet, whatever you want to put here. This one's just a fancy old Cadillac, but it's still just a regular 3.6 VVT. Over here is your oil cover. Boop. Pull that out. Put it in a safe place. And this thing literally just pops up. Boop. Just give it a little tug. Okay, make a liar. Little tug. There we go. And it just, all it does is got some little push-on doodads right here. And that's all you need to worry about. Since I've done this before, you'd think I'd be a professional by now. But in reality, yeah, I'm not. This just pulls off of here. There's another screw over here where you can take it off of the air box. Now, if you watch the headlight video, the air box, you can pull it out and you can get to everything with that air box off. But I just pry this off of here. Oh, and the air box got broken in my last accident. Dadgummit. I'd put this back in here just for safekeeping. But yeah, we've hit a deer with this car shortly after that video. And yeah, so we've got some more stuff to fix. But for now, I'm going to pull this off of here. This just pulls loose. I guess you're supposed to have a, it's probably supposed to come loose there, but, it doesn't. And there's a, once you pull this out of here, this is a little bit of a humdinger, and I think maybe when I could hit that deer, it pushed this towards us a little bit, so this may be a little bit harder to get out than usual. Oh boy, yep, I think it is. She's a-coming. There you go. Oh gosh. We don't want to wreck that plug, that's for sure. Alright, here we go. Take this plug out, get it out of your way, because You don't want to break this off. This is what makes your car run. So definitely don't break that. Just so you can see what I was doing, it's a little plug right here. It's underneath that air box. You kind of got to move the air box out of the way to get to it. It has this little clippy thingy. This little clippy thing, I've got a zip tie on it to hold it in there. The little zippy thing goes in here and it locks this in place. You'll have to pull this zip tie, this little thing out, and then this thing will just slide right out of that plug. So I just figured I'd show you that. Now this is a little bit of a sticky wicket. There's a bolt down in here. See this little tab right here? There's a bolt down below this tab. You got to follow the bracket, and it's a very large bolt. It's like, I'm actually using an 11/16, so whatever the metric equivalent to 11/16 is, which I think is like 20 millimeter? No, not even. 17 millimeter probably. It's either 17 or 18 millimeter, I think. Be sure. Let's see. Yeah. So I apologize for using a standard size on there, but you can see it's good sized. And I just got a bucket over here. I'm putting these in, and you have to take that out, because even if you were to remove this bracket, now this one's just got a zip tie on it with a factory zip tie with a little doodah that just pulls out of this hole. So you won't have to remove this bracket, but you did have to remove that one, or this will not come off. And then you got to take these off. Now you might want to find the little pressure relief valve. So let me find that, which is right here. It's got a green top on it, and you'll want to just take the pressure, just depress it. It's just like a tire valve, and you'll just, well, this one ain't gonna let you do it because you got to get way down in there. So take your screwdriver. You see, I have to in my way right now. See if we can get in there with a screwdriver. And I can't. So let's try the old Leatherman. Good heavens, I got tons of stuff in my pocket. And you take your Leatherman. You're just going to poke that valve down inside there. Like I said, it's just like a tire valve. You poke that little thing in the middle and it'll let the fuel pressure out of it. There. There's no pressure in there right now. Now, if I'm not mistaken, there's another one somewhere. I can't remember where. This one is for this right here. You're just going to pinch the sides and pull that right off of there. Well, that made it sound easy. We're just going to pinch these sides. Nope, I lied. You got to get in here and just pry up on this little doodah here, and it pops right off. Well, okay, it just pops right off. You get in here and you pop that up. There we go, and it pops right off. So, and that's your, I think that's your cold start injector. I don't really know. I'm not a modern car kind of guy, but I've been in here before, so I know enough to be dangerous. Make sure all this is disconnected, because we have to take this off in order to get into here. This has got another one of those pull tabby thingies. You got to kind of press the ends and pull it out here. And you pull this off of here. It kind of pries out. Don't break it, whatever you do. Pretty sure it just pulls in. Dadgummit, everything grabs a hold of you. I hate coats. There we go. It's got a little pry bar there. Push in on these corners. And it should pop right out. Well, let me get over here where I can do what I'm doing. Or see what I'm doing. That would be nice, yeah. Alright, yeah, these. See these little tabs back here? These have to push in. And then you just pry it out here. Well, it works in theory. There we go. Alright, there we go. See, it just pulls straight out, like so, and then this should pop right off of here. See, and that just comes right off. So I know it looks difficult, and you're right, it is. I'm not going to make believe it's not, but you got to just pry that off of there, and you'll hear it pop, and then she'll come right out. There's one humdinger of a bolt, and it's way back here. You can't hardly get to it. This part of the cowl is in the way of it, and I suppose you could remove this if you wanted to go through all that, but I found if you use just a regular little tiny breaker bar, 1/4 inch breaker bar with a socket, you can get at it, and you just gotta do the whole, you know, little by little deal, you know. And once you get it loose enough, you should be able to maybe just take the socket, put the socket on there. Probably can't see what I'm doing because my hands are in the way. But put the socket on there, and you should be able to just spin it and get it up out of there. It's not easy to get your hands in there either, but I'm getting it. And then you just take your socket off of there because it's going to get in the way. And just keep on taking her out. Gosh, it's a tight one. We're going to have to leave the socket in there for a little bit longer. Now you won't be able to get the bolt out, so just figure that out. You know, take the there we go. Once you get it loose, it's not going to come out. It's going to hit. Now probably the proper way to do this is to take this plastic cowl out of here, but I found that you can do it this way, and so I do more work than you have to. It's a little bit of a chore getting to this bolt. Once she's loose, you know, you just keep working her loose. There, okay, but now see, it won't come out. So you'll have to wait until you can get this, take the whole panel off, and then when you take the panel off, you'll be able to get that out of there. Get the hard one out of the way. Now there is another 10mm bolt right here, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I can get at that one with a ratchet. I think, don't quote me, but you can always wait until you get this loose and then you can get at it then, but we'll try to get at it now since she's being a, nope, can't get it with that one either, but you can still use that same little apparatus that we used before, and that's just holding this on. And that just pops out. So let me find a safe place to put that socket. But nope, no matter where I put it, it's going to get hit and knocked off into oblivion somewhere. Yeah, you can just take this thing, just like the other one, break this loose. And this one is literally just a little bracket for a wire. So just take that one loose. There's another one on the other side, but that one we can just unplug. It's just a plug. Those plugs in the back over here. A little bit of humdingers. There we go. Now this one, it's just a press plug. You just press the little, those things, they say you just press them and they come off, but it's never that easy. But that's basically how it works. Oh, let me get over there, and I usually have to get a pair of pliers on it because I can never just press them and get them off. I press them with a pair of pliers and that loosens them right up, and that one's off. It's right here in the corner over here. And then there's another one. It's kind of way far back, but it's got a little bit of slack on it. So I highly recommend you wait to take that one off until you get the plenum loose, and then you can just pull the plenum through a little bit and get that one off. Then you got a hose here, so you got to come off. It's really just pull it, just like that. This is just works loose. It's just got a little rubber seal. You just work it loose. It just pops out. Okay, you just work it loose and just pop it out. Okay, you might want to get a screwdriver and help you out. We'll do the other one so you can see it and we'll get that other side. They're both exactly the same, as one on each side. But this is the one here. You know, and you can just kind of put this in just gently. Don't force it. There we go. And it just comes out. Ooh, that don't look good. That don't look good at all. What would cause that? Yuck. Looks like oil. That's not good. Well, I don't know. It looks like oil. So maybe she burns a little oil. Who knows? But anyhow, that's that. We've got another bracket here. Take that one off. That's 10 millimeter. The rest of these Plenum bolts just come on out. It doesn't really matter. Now this one's going to take a deep socket. There's these four. I guess I didn't really have to undo this one because I've got to take this bracket off anyway because it's holding on to this. So we're just going to go ahead and plug this one back in, slide that back in like so, and we'll just take that bracket off. Again, these are 10 millimeter. Another one here. And those are just basically holding brackets on that we just need to get out of the way. And that should loosen my plenum. Now don't forget we have that one in the back that we have to take off, that one wire. But what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to take these out, because when you pull these out, see how long they are? They, if you don't pull them out, they can ruin the gasket when you pull it out. And we don't want that to happen. So we're going to pull this one out there. Remember, that one didn't want to come out last time either. And that's a short one. Remember, that one takes a short one. Now don't forget that back one, she won't come out. There we go. Come on, baby. There we go. And then that one is just going to dangle there, because it won't come out. So I'm going to put a piece of tape on it so it won't fall down. Take a piece of electrical tape, and I'm just going to put it around the base of this bolt. Just going to wrap it around sloppy like, just to keep it from falling down in the hole, and so it'll mind its manners when I'm messing with it. Have to remember to take it off, because it'll be a pain in the butt trying to get it off later. That should keep it from falling down inside the hole. And then we're just going to pick this gently up, because you don't want to mess up the gasket. This thing is just going to be a pain, of course. There we go. Just kind of lift her up. And I think that bracket's going to be a little bit of a... There we go. Trying not to... Okay, now I got this forward enough. If we can get this wire back here, and again, it's just one of those press and pulls. Of course, they're never easy to press and pull. So I get the pliers, give it a little press. It just gives you a little bit more power, and there it goes, comes right up. All right, look, we still got another bracket over here. We'll go ahead and just take that off, make it easy. These things have 250 worthless brackets on them. And so all we're going to do now is just lift this thing straight up, right out of the way. Now if you'll see, this has got a brand new gasket on it. Okay, and I put that on the last time. So now we have to take this fuel rail off. And here, remember I said I thought there was another one back here? Here it is. We have to relieve the pressure here. You can't get to it with the plenum on there. So I'm going to get my screwdriver, and we're going to relieve the pressure on the fuel rail by hitting this Schrader valve here in the back. Yes, you are hearing chickens in the background. Now, make sure you got safety glasses on when you do this, because, well, that one didn't have much pressure, so that's good. All right, now, on this one, I am going to take this plug out. I'm going to replace this coil anyway, so I'm going to take that plug out and take a look at it since I'm going to have it out anyway, because I didn't like seeing that oily looking stuff on those sensors, and that could be part of my problem. But we're going to take a look at this plug and see if she's not oil fouled. Now, before I do the injector, we're going to go ahead and take a look at this plug. And you don't, well, we're going to be replacing this coil, so I'm going to have to take that plug off anyway. So we might as well go ahead and do that. And again, this is one of those pull deals, like the other one I showed you. This one's a little easier to come off. There we go. Get that off, open there. And this should just pull right off of here, assuming I got it out enough. There we go. Once you get it out enough, it should pop right off. There we go, nice and easy. All right, take your screw, put it in someplace safe. If you're not one for remembering where stuff goes, or really good at puzzles, which I tend to just be really good at puzzles, I highly recommend you put your bolts in order. I just stick them in a can. I'll pull this out. Now this one, oh, this one's okay. I thought this one was one of the ones that had the bad boot on it, but I guess not. Now I'm just going to go ahead and go in there and I'm going to pull that plug out. It had oil in the plenum, but I don't see any oil in here. So that says to me that whatever that oil, water stuff that's going in the plenum is, it's not getting in the engine. So actually, I'm not going to. There's a little bit there. That's weird. Yeah, there's a little bit under this gasket. See it? Weird. Very weird. That is very, very strange. But it's not on this side, so pulling this plug isn't going to help. I'm guessing it's probably blow-by. That'd be my guess. But yep, there's a little bit. There's a little bit right here. Let me get a rag and wipe that off. I confused myself a little bit because I was looking at the plenum and this cylinder is further forward and I found oil on those cylinders. But my misfire is coming from number one cylinder. Number one cylinder is 99.999% of the time is the cylinder that is furthest most forward on the engine. If you look at the engine, you'll see this is number one because this is further back. So this would be your number one cylinder, which is what I thought. But when I saw this, for whatever reason, I panicked. Started thinking, oh well, shoot, maybe this is number one. So I double checked it online, and nope, this is indeed number one cylinder. So we're going to go ahead and pull this plug out quickly. Now I put anti-seize on this plug, which is a great idea, and you'll always want to do that because when you go to put it back in or take it back out later on, it won't be seized in there. Anytime you're putting steel into aluminum, always put some anti-seize on it. And when you're putting electrical connections back together, it's always a good idea to put some dielectric grease on it so it doesn't get stuck together and or corrode. Now I've done all that previously when I did the plugs on this car, and look at that plug. She looks a little lean, and that's what I was thinking, if you want to take a look at that. So what's happening is that injector is, I thought it was flooding it, but it's the other way around. That injector is just not firing every time. And it almost looks like it cracked the porcelain here, but I think that's just dirt. Yeah, it looks like dirt. But that plug is definitely running lean, and that's what's happening. I think the injector is misfiring, and then that's causing the plug to not fire. And you can see this plug, it's got a little bit of blow-by on it. And I'm like, that's not good. Maybe not the best plug in the world. Has some anti-seize on it. You can see the silver coming off of my fingers. So I'm not going to reapply because there's plenty on there already. We're just going to put this plug back in. That confirms I actually thought it was going to be the other way around. I thought maybe she was flooding, and that was the problem. That she was going to be gas fall. So it's probably, the coil is probably fine. I bought a new one, and it wasn't very expensive, like 40 bucks. So I am just gonna go ahead and put it in anyway. And if I can find out what I did with my ratchet, here we go. And I don't know how many of you guys out there set your tools down and forget where you put them. Just snug that up. No sense in cranking on it. Pull that out of there, and we're gonna get the new coil and put it in. Now I'm not gonna tell you what brand this coil is because it's got some grease on it already. So yay, we don't have to do that. Because you know they're not paying me to put their stuff in, but it's got a lifetime warranty. That's all I'm gonna say. And this one comes with its own bolt. You can't really complain about that. It's kind of cold out here, so if you hear me sniffling, you'll know why. So she pushed right down on there nice. We'll get that threaded on there. There we go. Look at that. Can't complain about that. And we're just going to go real slow because I don't want to strip it out. And we'll just give it a little snuggage. There's not really a lot of pressure on that because gravity's doing its thing. Put your thing back on here, your plug back on, push that down, it pulled it in. That's that. Okay, we checked the plug, she's running lean. That means that injector's not working well. Now we're going to take our 10mm nuts that are right here. It's a bolt, I'm sorry, my bad, and here, and that's going to pull this fuel rail up, I believe. And that, oh wait, there's one there too. And that should, any more? Nope. And that should free up my #1 cylinder injector, and we're going to go ahead and let me check the injector though, because maybe I want to make sure it's the right one before we go through all this. Go ahead and pull the fuel rail off, and then we'll worry about getting that plug off because we can get the injector out and look at it. Last thing you want is that bolt to drop down inside of there. That would be very not good. Alright. Now, this has got a goofy little clip right here. And if we pull that clip off, we'll be able to take the entire fuel rail straight up. And that's kind of what we're planning on doing. So I'm going to get my trusty screwdriver. Oh. I'm going to pry this up. It's just got a little... It's pretty simple, really. A lot better than them stupid... stick your tool in there and try to, which this still may be. But this just kind of comes off like this and comes forward. You can take a good look at that if you want. And this should, theoretically, just pull right off. Careful you don't get a face full of gas. Oh, come on. I guess we can get this out of the way. What? Uh-oh, that's not good. That's no good. Oh boy. Oh, we could probably use a... See what happened here? Is messing around with it. She's broken, but it's in a vacuum line, so we'll be able to fix that with very little effort. We're gonna try to get this off of here now. Try not to get a face full of gas. These things, and I don't even know what size. I'm just gonna kind of have to guess. And I've got a couple of fancier ones, but you just kind of stick these around the line. And then just push in on it like this, and supposedly it just takes the line right off. Just so you know, because I had to figure it out, this goes down over the injector. This little cover goes down across this like so, and you have to pull this cover completely off, and then you can push on this, the top of this, and it will release it from the injector. So it was quite the humdinger, to be honest with you. Don't worry about the blood. That actually is an old wound that just reopened. That happens a lot. But now I've got everything undone. I did lose the clip back there. I'm hoping it hits the ground. I guess it might be advantageous to take this out of the way since I know how now. So I'm just going to go ahead and unplug all the injectors, and I think that'll make my life a little easier as far as getting everything, because I got to try to find that clip that I've lost now. That's just great. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull all of these out, and then get the wiring out of the way, and we'll go from there. Well, aside from my back, that wasn't too bad. And we just took that out of the way. Getting the fuel rail off is not all that easy. She's kind of stubborn. She's got those big O-rings in there, and you don't want to pry on the gasket surface. So we're trying to stay away from the gasket surface and still pull up on all these other surfaces. And let me see. I've got these front ones out. Oh, and in this case, the injector came off with it, and I'm not, because of the way these clips are, I'm thinking I may have to pull each injector out and put the rail in all together. I think I may have. Oof, that's nasty. Oh, that wasn't good. I just blew dirt inside the hole. Not a wise idea. So I'm going to get the fuel rail off, but I think I'm going to have to pull all the injectors out, and put this one. There we go. I think I got them all out. Just one more left. And let's see. I'm just going to pull it by hand. Why does this feel like it's going to be a knuckle buster? Oh, it came out. Okay. Now, some of them, the injectors came out, and the rest of them, these came out. This is the one we're replacing. Oop, getting gas everywhere. I'm going to go ahead and pull all the injectors out, lube them up a little bit, and because there's a clip that goes here, and that clip is virtually impossible to get on, and if you'll see it can only go on one way. So, and I am making a mess. But we'll go over that in a minute. I'm going to try to find this clip I dropped. Here's the fuel rail all ready to go. I'm going to go ahead and replace the number one injector right now. I'm going to put the new one in its place. So we're going to pull this one out. There we go. It just pulls out. Now, here's a problem. I've lost one of these. And this is the little clips that, that hold the injectors on the rail. Now, the good thing about it is once you bolt this down, they can't really go anywhere. So I'm not going to put one back in, but I am going to make sure it's the first one, the easiest one to get to, just in case I have a problem. I can try to buy one of these clips and get it put on there. So that's what we're going to do now. But I'm going to get the new injector, which is right here. And if you'll notice, I've got a little thing of oil right here. And I'm going to look, and I guess the injector does have that little plastic doohickey on there. So I'm going to wet the injector with motor oil. Okay, this is just a little cap full of motor oil. I'm going to wet it. I'm also going to wet this side because this is the side that's going in. Alright. We're going to make sure we don't want to clog that up with oil, but gas will push right past that, no how. And then we're just going to push that in. Goes in nice and easy with the oil on there. We're going to wet all of these with oil. What I'm going to do also is I've got a can of spray here. And we're going to clean all of these off with this spray. I sure could use a cameraman. Jeez. Alright, here's the old injector that I thought was bad. We're not going to put that one back in. So that's a goner. But it was number one, which we've replaced. I'm going to take a little bit of oil, and I'm going to put it on all of the doodads. Well, before I do that, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm going to put these clips back on. Now, if you'll notice, the clips are on the back side. And so, let's see, what the heck? Yeah, I guess they go this way. And they just kind of slide on really easy. But they're almost impossible to get off, or on even, when they're in the car. So stupid me went ahead and took them off, and I'm telling you right now, don't do it. They don't need to come off. You just pull the injectors themselves out. And okay, the injectors have a little slot, and these fit into that slot. Okay, that makes sense. Now I understand why they were so much of a humdinger to try to get out. But yeah, you don't take these off. You put these on in the car. Now I wish I hadn't taken these off now, because I'm gonna have to. Yeah, this one's gonna be a pain. There we go. And I'm gonna have this first one, the one we're replacing, is going to be the one that doesn't end up having a clip on it, which I think is okay, because there is literally a hold down screw right on top of it. This one's probably even better, but I probably could have used that one, because that's where the hold down screw is, right there. So one of these might have been the better one to choose, because that one's a little bit of ways from there. So why don't we do that? Let's go ahead and pick the one that's least likely to leak, because it's got the most pressure. So let's pull this off. See how they come on? They go on and off. And I don't know if you can see that. And yeah, you can. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it on this one instead, because it's a little bit further away. I don't think these are doing much, to be honest with you. And I don't know, look right. What's the deal? Does the new injector not have that slot in it? Maybe not. Maybe the new injector doesn't have it. Let's see. Maybe losing that one ain't so bad after all. No, it has it. Okay. Well, I was hopeful. I just wasn't hitting it. Golly, what's the deal here? There it is. Okay. There she goes. Man, that one's... There. Golly. That one was kind of a pain. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of oil on each one of these rubbers, these seals. These seals are a little dry. I'm almost kind of hesitant to put them back in, since I don't have any new ones. Honestly, if you're doing this job, I would recommend probably putting new seals on these injectors. I don't know what a set of seals would cost, probably just a few dollars. But no, I'm going to take the chance. But I don't recommend that you do. Be smarter than I am. I think they'll be okay, but in reality, if I was you and you've never done this before, and this could be a real daunting thing if it doesn't work out, then new seals are definitely the way to go. The clip, it probably wouldn't be a bad idea for me to have find another clip too, but I don't really think it's necessary. Like I said, this one's right. This is a hold down bolt. This ain't going nowhere. So I'm just going to take the chance of running it without it. And you can learn by my mistakes. That's what these videos are really about. Let me screw up for you so that you won't. I did end up with some problems here while we were working, as some of these vacuum lines have come apart. Now you can order brand new vacuum lines, but that one's split too. Golly. I'm going to try to find some hose, put it over here, and I'm going to clamp them in, and that will hopefully fix that. I'm going to try to find hose that will go over that. If not, we'll black tape them, and hopefully that will stop it from having any kind of vacuum leaks, because that will cause issues as well. So let's go ahead and get this put back in and see if my missing clip is going to cause me any havoc. This is going to go well. I am not a huge fan of modern cars, to be honest with you. Get that out of the way. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do. So what you're going to have to do here is make sure all of your holes are lining up, which again is a feat in itself. And then once you get them all lined up, lighting is always an issue. So I'm going to double check, make sure they're all good. and in the holes, and then we're just going to try to, the oil, believe it or not, makes it quite a bit easier, but you got to make sure you're in where you got to go. So, oh, there's, well, those went in nicey nice, but now are the other ones in? Oh, it looks like they are. Son of a gun. Well, I'll be dipped. Okay, now with this, you don't have to get too crazy because you've got bolts, right? You know, it's a lot harder getting them out, but that freaked me out. That's the old one. I got O-rings if I need them. Those are pretty dry, but that one's pretty good. We're going to take our nuts and bolts here, and we're going to get, which ones were the, I think these were them, I believe. And then you can just put these in, and they'll do the work for you. You know, just go ahead and just put them down real slow. Don't go crazy. You know, don't be an animal. I don't think that's the right one. Or that's not the right one. Not really sure. Let's see. But there's 3 of them, remember? And we're just going to go, okay, this isn't the right one. This doesn't match. All right. That's why I said you're better off, you know, putting your bolts in a row. See, I'm just putting that in by hand, and you can see it starting to force those injectors down in there. Now, you can, if you want to, use a pneumatic like I am. I'm just going to go real slow, though. I'm going to start with the center one. Make sure I don't break nothing. You kind of saw, I don't know if you could see that, but you kind of could see the fuel rail just suddenly settle in. It popped past all the seals, and it just kind of popped into place. So right now it's just a matter of just giving it a little snug. Again, these don't have to be very tight. I'm just going to give it a little snug. There we go. Now, probably just so I can feel it, I'm just going to put a regular ratchet on here just to get, because that big Milwaukee's kind of got a lot of leverage on it, so I don't want to take any chances of over torquing these. So I'm just going to feel them, because you are in aluminum here, and I made a boo-boo. I should have put some anti-seize on these screws, because they are in aluminum and they should have anti-seize on them. So note to yourself, put some anti-seize lubricant on those bolts before you put them in. But that should do it. I'm going to double check and make sure they all look like they're in. That one looks good. Yep, that one looks really good. Oh yeah, that one looks good. That one looks good, I think. And that's what I was saying, is these can't really go anywhere, you know. So I'm going to hook it up, and I'm going to hook up the fuel, and I'm going to energize it before I put the plenum back in, so I can see if I have any leaks. And then I've got to address these problems. And I did that, remember when we found that oily goop on the end of these sensors? These are PCV valves. Well, the PCV valve's over there, but that's what feeds it. So evidently she's got a little blow-by. I don't understand why. She's only got 165,000 miles on her. She's like brand new. But evidently she's got a little blow-by, but nothing severe. But okay, we're going to energize this. Put that back on there. Whoop, feel it snap. All right, and then with my little clippy thing. Here we go. And I did drop something over here, and I don't know what it was. So I'm like, you need to be more careful than me, because this is, hopefully whatever I dropped, it wasn't a big deal. That just snaps back on there. All right. And what I should be able to do is, if I turn the fuel pump on, it should energize this. Let me just make sure I don't have anything open. I'm not going to energize these injectors yet. I'm just going to energize to put pressure in the system and see if any of these are leaking. And I keep hitting that wiring. It's one of those things, you know. It's my worst. Oh, and that puts that right in the way. I know, I'm the world's worst cameraman. I apologize, folks. I'm trying to learn new tricks, you know. But I'm an old dog. Okay, that being that, I'm going to go ahead and energize it real quick. I don't think I have anything that's going to freak out, right? I don't have anything that's hooked up that's going to cause me issues. She's probably going to throw all sorts of bells and whistles, but I'm going to energize the fuel pump and see if we have any leaks. Yep, that's what I'm going to do. Are we ready? Oh my. Yay, I don't see any leaks. Okay, so I don't know if you could hear the fuel pump energize, but it did. I heard it actually energized quite a bit because I emptied everything. So you could hear it go, you know. But everything's good. I don't see any leaks, so let's go ahead and start plugging stuff in. Well, all those PCV lines that broke, I went ahead and made new ones. This is just regular rubber hose, and I just replaced all those brittle, crappy these lines with rubber. This one, I'm not even sure where it came from because it just fell off. I think it went to the air, to the plenum. So I'll make a new one of those when I get to that point. In the meantime, we'll go ahead and put this one on, and then we're going to get started putting everything back together, thank God. Before we snap the cover back on, let's see if she runs. Well, it sounds okay. Let's go ahead and just double check and make sure these are snug. Sounds good though. Well, that's all, folks. As you can see, you can run into unforeseen problems. Those plastic vacuum lines, when they start getting old and brittle, they are total poop. That's putting it mildly. But you can just replace it with rubber. I mean, the old cars, we have to replace the rubber every once in a while. So instead of spending all that money on preformed, plastic junk, just put a piece of rubber hose in there. Worked just fine. As you saw, the car started right up, ran beautiful. She gave me a little bit of trouble here and there, mostly with the brittle lines and then trying to get the airbox in. Was not that hard last time I did it. What had happened is I hit a deer. And so, I don't know if it was Bambi's mom or dad, but, a good size one, big it, looked bigger going, up against, on the hood, Buckled the hood. I was able to get some of that fixed. I did not YouTube that because I was in a hurry. I wish I had, because it was probably pretty comical, me jumping up and down on that hood trying to get it shut. But we're going to fix the front end on that car eventually. But thank you for watching this video. So now you know how to change the coil and the spark plugs and the fuel injector. Okay, and all of that was on number 1. As you saw, she ran really good. So evidently, one of those two things that I just fixed it. But anyway, thank you for watching. If you liked this video, please hit the like button. By all means, hit the share button. Share this with your friends. And most of all, please subscribe, because subscribers is what makes this thing go. Not the car, me. The video. Videos. Yeah, what makes me keep making videos. You subscribe. That keeps me going. Yeah, that's it. But thank you for watching. I hope you learned something. Learn by my mistakes. That is the number one thing. I don't candy coat it, man. I just go ahead and show you the ins, the outs, the upside downs, and the boo-boos. You know what I mean? Don't take those little clips off of the injectors. Pull the injector out with the rail. And do that on most cars anyway. I don't know why I did it on this one. I guess thought I'd just make myself some more problems. Did lose that one. I'll probably find it at some point. But, as you can see, it wasn't necessary. Most cars don't even have those. Those are like an extra safety, I think, if things loosen up. But worked just fine without it. I recommend you leave them in there, if you don't have to take them off. But as you can see, if you have to, you can go without. Nonetheless, that's pretty much it. Thank you for watching. See ya.